Hello everyone, my name is Mariam and welcome to my Cricut Design Space and Inkscape tutorials. Today I'm going to show you the changes Cricut did last week. They did a huge update on Cricut Design Space. At the time of recording this video, it's a version 7.20.86. If you open Cricut Design Space and you can't see any changes, that's okay because the rolling out is happening over a few weeks for everyone to receive. But we can start testing it from now if we selected the beta version. To select the beta version, you go to the top left corner, the three lines, you select the settings, and under general, there is application experience. Select the beta instead of live, hit done, and then X to exit. You will notice changes in the layers panel. You will also notice that the weld button has been disappeared. I will go through all the changes and I will show you the testing I did for two objects, three objects in one category when they are stacked over each other. And also I did another category while they are overlapping with the shape. And basically I will of course choose one of the designs from Creative Fabrica to test. I will add the link of Creative Fabrica website in the description below. And the Creative Fabrica, just to let you know if you don't know what it is, it's one of the most amazing websites in the world. They have over 100,000 fonts, 5 million graphics, and something huge. They have also $1 month trial if you would like to try it. So with the design here, as you can see, I have on the top the group and ungroup button has been merged into one button. So if I select more than one object, they will start being black, clickable. Originally, if you remember, we had group and ungroup. Now they are merged in one button. And simply, if you select a group of objects and you click on that button, it will be ungrouped. If you go to the whole thing and they are individual layers in the layers panel, if I hover on that button, it will say group or Control G as a shortcut. And once I click on it, it will become grouped together and you can see the word group here and underneath the individual layers. While they are all selected, if I click on it again, it will become ungrouped again and the word group has been disappeared. So it's easy. You can still access everything from group and ungroup. The other thing as well that the duplicate and the delete, they don't have the description underneath. Yeah, that's right. But once you hover on it, it will remind you what's this button for. So here it says a duplicate or the shortcut Control D, and that's the delete. While my design is grouped, we would love to show you that the renaming of the layers, which we have been requesting for a while, has been done. Now, yes, we can actually rename our design and the individual layers. So basically, I can double click on the name and you can start typing the name you would like. So let's say I have green Christmas tree as a name, and you hit enter once you're done typing, or you hit any empty space on the canvas. You can also rename the layers. So let's say I want to rename this one. You can hit right click and rename, or you can double click and you start typing. So let's say I want to call that pattern and enter. I wanted to select this one and say green tree, enter, and I want to change this one to say red base. Because the operation type has been disappeared, I may prefer to select what operation type I want. I may say cut, and I'm going to use cardstock for this one. So you can also add the material. And let's say I wanted the pattern to be in vinyl, so you can add the word vinyl. So you can type whatever you want in the layers. And this is a huge change. Thank you, Cricut, for bringing that to us. When you select your pattern, you may say, oh, okay, I have another actually design on the same canvas and I want to move this ornament to the Christmas tree group. This is super easy. All what you need to do, you just drag it from group to another. Or so let's say I have the ornament here with those two patterns as a group, and I decided to move one of them into the other one. So if I want to move the purple ornament to the Christmas tree, I simply need to drag it. And you will find that the Christmas tree now has a group with all the three on the top, but also I have also added the purple ornament. The last thing I want to mention in the top part of the layers panel that we used to do right click on the layer and click on image info. It used to be faded. Now it's not faded anymore. It's easier to read, showing the design number or the uploaded image we had. So now let's test all the new functions on the two different categories. As you can see, they are all non-clickable until you select object. And basically here, I have three objects, the octagon, heart, and the star. And when you go down, you will find a new button called the combine. When you click on the arrow next to the combine, you will find the weld, old function, and new four functions, unite, subtract, intersect, exclude. So what is weld again? It's welding the whole object, melting it together. And if you do click on the arrow on the top left corner, the undo, it will undo the welding. But as a reminder, when we click on save, exit our project, exit Cricut Design Space, the welding is irreversible. You can't ever unweld again. And we asked Cricut for so long to make the weld reversible, and they did. It's now a new button called Unite. If I click on Unite now, that's exactly going to give me the same result like weld, but it is reversible. What about the octagon with the star? Let's do Unite. And of course, it's expected to have just a green octagon because they are both shapes melted together. Let's do the subtract. Subtract, to be able to do it, there are a couple of things you need to remember. First, which layer is the bottom layer? Second, is it smaller or bigger than the others? If the bottom layer is smaller than the others, it won't work because it's hidden by the top layers. Subtract, basically, it is removing any shape from the last layer or the bottom layers of any selected group of objects, and it must not be fully covered. Let me show you. So while it is all selected and I do subtract, basically the heart and the star will cut, sort of like of stamping from that octagon. I will do undo and I will show you what's going to happen if my octagon, which was at the bottom layer, is smaller. So I'm going to select the octagon and I'm going to make it smaller, really, really small. And I'm going to drag it at the back. Now you can't see it. It's totally hidden by the heart and the star. Now let's select all of them again. And here on the layers panel, you can see clearly star, heart, octagon, and octagon at the bottom. That means it's the bottom layer. Now, when you click on combine and subtract, it's not going to work and you will get actually an error saying to subtract one shape from another, make sure your top layer doesn't completely cover the bottom layer. Try moving shapes, then try again. Sure. So let's undo and make my octagon back to normal, bigger, not fully covered with the top layers. And in this case, the subtract will definitely work. Perfect. Okay, let's do the test on octagon with a star. Subtract. Again, the bottom layer here is the octagon. So done beautifully. Intersect. The intersect means the overlapping part between the objects will stay on the canvas and anything else will be removed. So I have three objects here. Intersect. You will find only the star stays because that's the overlapping shape between the three shapes. And here I have also the star should stay when I do intersect. Beautiful. What about the exclude? The exclude is totally the opposite from intersect. It will leave on the canvas the non-overlapping part and it will remove the overlapping part. Let's try it. So I have three objects here. Click on combine, exclude, and because the heart was actually the overlapping between the heart and the star, and the heart was also the overlapping between the heart and the octagon. That's why the only part was removed is the heart, because the heart was common between the two objects. But here, when we have only two objects, the octagon and the star, and when we click exclude, it will just remove the star out of the octagon shape. Perfect. So that is the first category we tested. The second category, we have also two objects, three objects, but this time they are not stacked over each other, they are overlapped. And when we tested, we noticed something a little bit different in intersect. Let's have a look. So first, let's do unite. Beautifully, I will get all of them melted, totally new shape, octagon with the star, unite as expected, no changes. Subtract the octagon here at the bottom layer. When we do subtract, it will take away all the extra parts which was over the top of the octagon. Again, octagon with the star. Let's do subtract. Nothing is unexpected. Let's go to intersect. Now, what are we expecting here? We have a heart overlapping octagon. We have a star overlapping octagon. The actual star is not overlapping the heart. That should be okay, right? So let's try the intersect. Unfortunately, it's not gonna work. Let's try it. Click intersect, you get an error. To intersect the two or more selected layers, at least a portion of all of them must overlap. Try moving one or more layers, then try again. Yes. So in Cricut Design Space, the intersect, even though you can intersect more than two objects, they have to be all of them overlapping each other, which means if I actually move the star and drag it here. So now the three objects are overlapping each other. If I click and select all of them and do intersect, now it's going to work because the three are overlapping. But it will end leaving me with just one piece, the whole three objects overlapping in this spot. Let's go to the octagon and the star. Intersect. That should be fine. Nothing is unexpected. Let's go to the exclude. Now, do you think the exclude will work like intersect? The three objects should be overlapping first. Let's try. Combine, exclude. Wow, it actually worked, even though the three objects are not overlapping. In that design, when I do the exclude, it will just remove the overlapping and leave me with the non-overlapping part. Yes, cool. All right. What's the difference between slice, the old button, and the new functions? You may be wondering, why did they add all the new functions? For two reasons. Number one, most of vector graphics software like Inkscape and Adobe Illustrator, they are actually have those functions. When you go to Inkscape, you will find the union, difference, intersection, exclusion, division. So they definitely had to have those functions in. Also, as a reminder, I do Inkscape tutorials. You can find them on the same channel under the series of Inkscape. The slice, the other issue we had, that we only could slice two objects. We couldn't slice more. Let's say with 5 layers, and you want to slice one layer out of the rest. You had to weld the other 4 layers and then slice it from the fifth layer. Now we don't need to do that because we have new functions that can be used for more than two objects, giving you different results and different shapes. And I will show you how you automatically actually update the final combined shape without the editing or doing undo. I will show you that in a second, but let's go to the slice first. If I have those three objects selected, you will see that simply the slice button is non-clickable. When you have this shape, two objects, yes, the slice is clickable. And once you slice, you get the extra pieces. Some of those shapes, you already got the same result from the new functions, but some of the new functions result you couldn't get with the slice. Let's try this one. 3 shapes. Again, if it's more than 2 shapes, the slice is non-clickable. What about this one? Of course it will work because it's only 2 objects. You click slice and it will work. Again, we were getting extra pieces, some we need, some we didn't need. So before we move on to the next step, I need to remind you, weld is irreversible, unite is reversible. To be honest, for myself, I won't use weld anymore because unite gives me the same result. And if I change my mind even after a year when I open this design, I have the ability to make reversible unwelding, which is lovely. The other thing we need to learn is merging layers. What is merging layer? I will show you in a second, but one thing we need to remember before we learn it, it's irreversible. So we went through the renaming layer, we went through renaming group, we also did moving a layer from a group to another. All right, let's go to the Christmas tree again and learn what is merging. So now let's go and test the functions if we want to revert them and what is the merge layers. So I have the Christmas tree, I have the base, I have the pattern. Let's say I want to get the base here in the middle of the Christmas tree. And I select the Christmas tree with the base, click on combine and do unite. If you change your mind and you felt like, oh, I want to actually to move the base of the Christmas tree a bit to the right side, do we really need to undo and then move the base and then doing unite again? You don't need to do that anymore. You go to the right panel, and while the whole unite thing is selected, you can go to any individual layer you would like. So for example, we want to go to the base, and while it is selected, you can actually move it, and you can see the line between the tree and the base has been disappeared. So it's a sort of updating the combined result. Not only you can actually move it, you can actually selecting it again from the right layers panel and resize it, and it's going to update the outcome of the combine. You also can rotate it. And again, a new shape will come out. What about if I wanted to do the same with the intersect or the exclude? And if you select all of them and you do exclude, it's basically will take all the overlapping part away and leaves the non-overlapping part. I actually can move it, and that automatically will update my exclude result. Now, how to unexclude? There are three options. You can click on the top arrow, undo. It will go back to one step backward. If I select it again, it will unexclude totally. If you go to the layers panel, select it, right click and go down, undo exclude. That's the second option. The third option is that while the exclude is selected, you go down on combine, click on the arrow next to combine, undo, exclude. All right, amazing. So we can do the undo from different options. Of course, you notice the color of the pattern didn't go back to normal. That's all right. You can select it and select the colors you had before. No drama. You only can, the color can stay if you do the undo from the top. Now, what is merge layers? When you have a design, you have many layers on the layers panel. To make your layers panel look a bit neater and like things clear, if after you finalize all your design and you are sure you're not going to do any more changes, you select everything here in the unite or exclude and you go to combine and you do merge layer. Now, when I click on combine, you won't find merge layer because here there are two functions included, one of them by itself and another one which is unite. You have to select only unite to be able to merge. I will show you what I mean. So once it's selected, I go to merge layers. That's an option, or right click from unite here and the merge layers. So what does merge layers mean? Means you won't have the individual layers anymore of unite and it will be all merged. Let's do it. So now it's under the word merge. All the individuals one disappeared. Now this is irreversible step. If you click save and exit your Cricut Design Space, so it's like a weld irreversible. Of course, if I do undo now, because I haven't saved my project or exit, I can go back to Unite again and the merge will be disappeared. Another thing you remember, When you have Unite or any of the four functions with the individual layer, you can simply actually click on any layer and hide it, or you can actually delete it. So I can go to the base and delete it. I hope this tutorial was useful for you, and I hope I covered everything I wanted to show you in the new functions. If you get any question or you got stuck with anything, let me know. Please let me know also what you would like to learn in the future. Thanks for watching.